How's it going, guys? This is Jonathan Billings, that right there, and I am doing my first vlog for directing class 456, section 2 with Linwood Fields. I still don't remember your name, I'm sorry. And yeah, the art that inspires me. I am a huge fan of film, always have been, ever since I first saw film when I was yay high. I yeah, I just kind of really understood it it was like a different language or something for a long time, just because it just seemed to make sense. It made sense, and I'm also like that with comics, books, and video games, just because they all tell this really cool narrative tale. And I've always been attracted to stories for the longest time. I think more than just simple, not simple, but I would probably rather watch something with Humphrey Bogart or Ryan Gosling than I would actually go look at a fancy painting or an art show for paintings, even though I think some paintings are pretty rad. Just because, I mean, there's some sort of story to them, but there's not like an actual arc or something that I'm used to, something that I can really get into. But anywho, I have picked a few movies that I feel are really influential to me and are, like I said before, I have my favorite films are probably range up in the 200s or something ridiculous like that. So I kind of just quickly grabbed all these films, but I think they are appropriate, and I am gonna just show them right now. First one I'm gonna choose is Drive, and I actually didn't see this film in theaters. I just saw it. I just bought it, but I heard it was a pretty interesting film, say at least. Like, hardly any talking, but it was pretty hardcore in the violence, and it had an interesting story, but told in such a way that was really cool. Like, I really enjoyed how the visuals told you what was going on instead of just people talking. Because I kind of get annoyed with how there's this, like a lot of bad films, people have to, like the characters have to explain what's good and what's not good, or what's going on and what's the story's about, really. And that, I think that's just a killjoy. I'd rather have the footage, the film, tell the narrative, and the acting and the sounds and the music and the cinematography do that instead of just having a character just and Drive does that very well, and I really enjoyed it. It was new and fresh and exciting, and I had a fun time watching it, and I would like to make a film a lot like it. Probably not exactly like it, but maybe take some pointers in how to tell what's going on without having anyone saying anything. I think that's really impressive. And another film that is I mentioned earlier, in class, anyways, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly by wow, I can't remember his name. This is terrible. Sergio Leone. I probably butchered his name. I wasn't a huge fan of westerns for a while. I mean, my dad and my grandpa are huge western fans, but my dad introduced this movie to me, and it's changed my life pretty much for the better. It's just a fun film. I mean, there are definitely parts of it that you can tell that Tarantino himself took, and like the Mexican standoff, which he has in like all of his films, pretty much, and other pointers that he took from this film, like the long, steady shots and people taking their time talking, and just a really cool, fun film, and it's like an epic. I mean, it's kind of like the Lord of the Rings of Western films. I mean, they're just really fun to watch, and they're just, I don't know, just really cool. Even when they were, it's like, what, 60, 50 years old. One of the main reasons I like this film is because it's told by three different characters: the good, Clint Eastwood the bad, Lee Van Cleef, I should know this guy's name, I don't know why, and then Ellie Wallach as the ugly. But it's just a really cool story about, you know, these three characters who, for different reasons, are trying to get the same goal, and that's to find this buried treasure in the graveyard during the Civil War. And I think that's a really cool story. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, adventure story like Inglourious Bastards, where it's not really about, you know, honor and glory or something typical of a war film. It's more about these people doing something personal, like killing Hitler, or in this case, trying to find gold. And during, you know, Civil War, when the country is at each other's throats, so they care about themselves. But I think it's just, you know, it's just an interesting, cool story that's, you know, nothing big, or in the sense that they're not trying to save a town or something. They're just trying to do stuff for themselves. And I think that's a very human, very interesting idea. And I would like to do something like that too. A lot of fun. And last but not least, a classic and something that has really stuck with me ever since, for the longest time, really, and that is Godzilla, or in Japanese, Gojira. And this is basically, this is what really got me into fantasy, sci-fi, horror, is Godzilla. And it's just the one film that, or the series, I guess, of films that captured my imagination, and I have never looked back. It's, I don't know, it's just really cool premise. Giant monsters attacking everyday cities, and I am also really stoked for the remake, which is coming out next year, soon, hopefully. And you know, there's a strong bit of you know, just it. The reason this film is great is because it just kind of captures the horror and what what Japan went through during the end of World War II, with the first nuclear bombs hitting on their cities, and how that has really affected them. And I feel like this film does a good job of capturing that, and, you know, and interprets it through film to show just how bad it was, and while having fun at the same time. But apparently it didn't do too well, just because people didn't want to be reminded of, you know, being bombed on. But obviously it's picked up steam after many years, so, you know, I like it a lot, obviously. But yeah, just like all these films, for different various reasons, and I think they're great works of art, and they are going to be talked about and remembered for years to come if they haven't already. And yep, that's really it, and I'll see you guys in class. Also, I'm hoping to get a camera soon for myself, hopefully, and that way I don't have to use this anymore. But yeah, have a good one.